Welcome back to Christian Tradition. Last time I covered the offices of the king, that is holy orders. In this video we are talking about the covenant sign, that is matrimony. As we move through the new Exodus, we have to remember that a nation is not just a collection of individuals. It is built on households. The strength of the column on the march depends entirely on the stability of the camp. If the basic unit of the kingdom is broken, the march itself falters. In the kingdom's blueprints, marriage is far more than a social construct or a romantic arrangement. It is a primordial signal, a physical sign of a supernatural reality that was established at the very beginning of the world. To understand marriage, we have to look back at the first union in the garden. The record in Genesis 2 tells us that God cast a deep sleep upon Adam. While he slept, God opened his side and took a rib to build Eve. When Adam awoke, he saw her as his own flesh, not a servant, but a partner in the image of God. The early teachers of the church saw something staggering in this pattern. They called the crucifixion the sleep of Christ. When Jesus hung in the sleep of death upon the cross, his side was opened by a soldier's lance. From that wound flowed blood and water, the symbols of the life-giving grace that forms his own bride, the church. Just as Eve was born from the side of Adam, the church is born from the side of the new Adam. Human marriage was designed from the first second of creation to be a living icon of this great union between the king and his people. Throughout the history of the people, the king described his relationship with Israel not as a business deal, but as a marriage. Even when the people were unfaithful, wandering off the path and following other gods, the king remained the faithful husband. The prophet Hosea was even commanded to marry an unfaithful woman as a living sign of God's enduring love. The king promised that even in the wilderness he would allure his people back and speak tenderly to them. He was preparing us for the day when the husband himself would step into history to claim his bride once and for all. When Jesus began his mission, it is no coincidence that his first sign occurred at a wedding in Cana. By turning water into wine, he wasn't just helping a family in a pinch. He was reclaiming and elevating marriage. He was taking the water of a natural human bond and transforming it into the wine of a supernatural covenant. The king himself solidified the absolute indissolubility of this bond when he reminded the Pharisees of the original blueprint, declaring, "What therefore God has joined together, let not man put asunder." Matthew 19:6. From that moment on, for those in the kingdom, marriage became a vessel of grace. St. Paul describes this in Ephesians 5 as a great mystery. He tells us that the way a husband loves his wife and the way a wife respects her husband is a physical window into the way Christ loves his church. It is a sacrificial, perpetual, and fruitful love that never ends. We see the beauty of this noble purpose foreshadowed in the Old Testament. On their wedding night, Tobiah and Sarah prayed together, asking God to have mercy on them and bring them to old age together in peace. That's in Tobit 8, verses 4 to 8. St. John Chrysostom, one of the great voices of the early church, echoed this when he called the Christian home a little church. He believed the family isn't just part of the march. It is a miniature sanctuary on the move. The home is where the faith is taught, and where the signal is passed to the next generation, and where the King's love is made visible to the world. A Christian marriage is meant to be an unbreakable seal, a sign that in a world of temporary promises, the King's covenant is permanent. Marriage is the heart of the camp. It is a proof that the King doesn't just want to save us as individuals, but wants to build us into a family. And it points directly to our final destination. The Bible begins with a wedding in Genesis, and it ends with a wedding in Revelation. The eternal marriage supper of the Lamb in Revelation 19:6. Earthly marriage is our preparation for that ultimate union. The union is sealed. The camp is secure. The march continues. Thank you for watching. And next time, we're going to conclude this series on the sacraments. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell and comment below. And may God bless you and guide you.
Amen. In nomine Patris